China's new Silk Road has been touted as one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects ever conceived, one that will dramatically change the landscape of global trade. Launched in 2013, the Belt and Road Initiative aims to link economies of countries in Asia, Europe and Africa into a China-centered trading network. Chinese financial institutions have poured in hundreds of billions of dollars in loans into finance-starved countries. But 7 years on, these China-funded projects have left many countries with a mountain of debt. Will the pandemic force a major rethink of the Belt and Road projects?
If all the countries along the Belt and Road, especially for the poor and underdeveloped countries, if they all ask for the debt relief, it will cause huge debt burden for China.
Who will ultimately pay for these mega projects? Can they afford to pay for it? And what will happen if they can't? This is the Karakoram Highway. It is also referred to as the China-Pakistan Friendship Highway. It extends 1,300 kilometers from the Chinese border to the outskirts of Islamabad. The road is China's key entry point into Pakistan. Thousands of Chinese workers cut through the mountains to create a sleek, modern highway. It's estimated that the project cost at least $275 million.
ये वो शॉर्टेस्ट वे है पर चाइना को अपना अरबियन सी में पहुंचने के लिए ये वाहिद वही रास्ता है। ये तो इसकी अहमियत का तो अंदाज़ा हर पाकिस्तानी लगा सकते कि क्या अहमियत है इसकी। दूसरा ट्रेड यहाँ से तो बिलियंस का ट्रेड चलता था, इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट का।
China's ultimate goal is to cut across the country to gain access to Pakistan's deep water harbour at Gwadar. One of the key projects under the Belt and Road Initiative, the port is regarded as strategically important to China. 60% of China's energy needs come from the Persian Gulf.
Perhaps Pakistan is the single most important country because every other country in the periphery of China, whether it's Vietnam or whether it's Thailand or whether it's Sri Lanka, can be easily muscled by the American influence and pressure. But Pakistan is one state that the Chinese hope and the West realizes is not easy to go down.
Many Pakistani, they view China is also the most trusted airline. And also they view CPEC, China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, will be a game changer for Pakistan.
It's a mega connectivity project that is going to change the destiny of more than 3 billion people in South Asia, in Central Asia, and in Africa alone.
But there's a real danger that Pakistan may fall under the China's debt trap. It now has $60 billion in loans for CPEC. The COVID-19 pandemic has dealt a severe blow to the country's ability to generate sufficient revenue and service its debts.
Estimates are that Pakistan's external debt, 1/5 of it is to China. So it is a very real issue.
The public debt relating to CPEC projects in Pakistan is less than 10% of our total debt. And furthermore, this debt has a maturity period of 20 years, and the interest rate is only 2.34%.
In 2010, China established a partnership to build a series of mega projects in Hambantota on the southern coast of the country. The plan was to transform a small fishing town into a major shipping hub. The port was opened amid much fanfare in 2010. But 2 years later, it was struggling to attract ships to berth while construction costs were rising. In the end, the projects left Colombo with $5.5 billion of debt. Unable to repay the loans, China then took over 70% share of the deep-sea port for 99 years for $1.12 billion.
There have certainly been some cases where the debt issue became really a big problem, and a lot of people talk about Sri Lanka and Hambantota and so on. Apart from those particular incidents, I don't think there's been a huge issue about a debt trap. The BRI was facing some headwinds even before the pandemic. There were question marks about the rising debt levels that some countries were burdened by. There were question marks about the viability of the projects and the way it was funded and the speed with which everything was being done so fast together that it was leading to problems like current account imbalances in some countries like Pakistan.
According to China's Economic Affairs Department, up to 20% of these projects have now been scaled back because of the pandemic. It has also caused tremendous difficulties for BRI participating nations to meet their debt obligations. In April this year, the Pakistan government asked for a debt relief of its $30 billion of loans to China for its CPEC projects.
China has made some of this commitment. We will temporarily suspend the debt payment for the 77 countries. We don't know the detail, but I think that's a good gesture.
The pandemic has weakened China's economy and brought disruptions to its manufacturing as well as supply chain activities. But President Xi Jinping is not about to abandon his dream of building the new Silk Road that connects China and the world.
The primary motivation driving China's push for the BRI is not just about the economic consideration, also the strategic consideration. China never care about so-called the short-term the economy or the commercial, the benefit or either now is a loss or make profit, right? So China plan for the long term.
It also clearly signaled that China remains open for business, capital account, for instance, but in a gradual manner. And it seemed to show an understanding that China just couldn't be, go back to being inward-looking like in the past. So I think it's a balanced review of Chinese strategy coming out.